Hello and welcome to another episode of the In Her Power podcast. If you're listening in real time, happy Monday. And if you are watching us on YouTube, hi, so good to see you. I'm very excited for today's episode. And while I was writing it out, sitting down, scripting it for you, I got very excited because I feel like this is one of the best episodes to listen to at the end of a year. Alternatively though, it can be listened to and embodied and applied whenever you feel like you might be coming to an end of an era. Whether it's a version of you, whether it's a relationship you're falling out of, maybe it's a friendship you're falling out of, maybe you've changed career, whatever it is, this is a really fantastic episode to listen to when you're ending an era and stepping into a new version. So in today's episode, we are going to go through exactly how to let go to level up and what I'm personally leaving behind in 2024 and that I would recommend you left behind in 2024 as well. I also just need to say, you're going to see me in this outfit today and next week if you're watching on YouTube, because I'm filming a double episode today because I'm off to Sydney next week for the Australian TikTok Awards. Guys, I'm shook that I even got an invite to this, and I talk about this in an upcoming vlog, depending on when you're watching this on YouTube or listening on podcasting streaming services. The vlog may be live, but I just need to say, going to the TikTok Awards was on my 2024 vision board, and I wasn't sure how I was going to get there. I'm not a TikToker galley. I didn't really have a following at the time when I set the TikTok Awards on my vision board, but as it always does, the universe has delivered as per always. So I'm off to the TikTok Awards next week, which means I've got a double record today. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see me twice in this outfit. I just wanted to give a little PSA, but also a little bit of a life update. Going to the TikTok Awards. I'm really excited. I just had to share that. Anyway, before we get stuck into the episode, I just need to quickly remind you guys that the Future You Challenge round 2 is now open. If you are so sick of doing the same shit every single year, different year, same shit, same person, you just can't seem to get to that new level, that new phase of your evolution, I promise you the Future You Challenge has been built for you. I give you guys my Future You formula, the exact step-by-step formula I use whenever I know it's time for me to level up, step into my new era. Fitting that today's episode is kind of revolving around that. The investment is 44 Australian dollars. I cannot even tell you how many people, creators and business owners predominantly, have messaged me saying, you need to up the price for this. It is far too cheap for the value you give. And that is strategic. It is for you guys to have access to something very, very powerful, very, very potent at a very low ticket cost. So this is your sign if you would like to jump in there. We start on Monday, the 6th of January, 2025. It is the perfect Christmas present, the perfect Happy New Year present to yourself or someone you know and love. It is the perfect mini course / challenge hybrid to kick off a brand new year. So I'm going to leave the link in the description bar below or the show notes below, depending on where you're watching or listening to this. And just a little PSA, I have doubled the prize money. So I am giving away now $2,000 total. There will be 2 winners of $1,000, and anyone everywhere can qualify for this. I'm talking worldwide. You can join us. So just a little PSA. Doors are now open. They close on the 5th to start on the 6th of January. I'll see you in there. Let's get stuck into the episode. So something that I really believe wholeheartedly, and I love this quote, it is like the most overused quote in the world, but I still love it. If you want different, you actually have to move different. If you want something bigger and better in 2025, you simply cannot do what you did in 2024. Of course, if there's been some great moments of growth for you, if there's been some great milestones, backtrack a little bit and see what you did do, repeat those, elevate those. But if you are still stuck in the same negative loops, the same negative patterns, the same negative or unhealthy habits, routines, and rituals that are quite literally just making you go round and round and round like you're a little rat or a little weasel in a wheel, we need to get rid of them. So in today's episode, I want to do a guided walkthrough audit in what I feel are the most important elements of my life and your life. So we're going to do an energetic audit, a mental audit, a digital audit, a physical audit, and then we're also going to do a little bit of a relationships audit as well. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, exactly what I'm doing, and the steps within each of those categories to really get the most out of this. I'm talking about like completely decluttering mind, body, spirit, your physical, digital space, literally from the ground up. Okay, so let's kick off with one of the most important. In fact, I'm going to say it is the most important, starting at the top, energetically. I feel like once your side of the street is clean energetically, everything else can follow suit. So, welcome to your energetic audit. This is exactly what we're going to do. I would kick off this audit by doing a little bit of like energy mapping across my life, across my day, across my daily routines. Where does my energy naturally flow to? And reflect on the activities or the people that either drain you or recharge that energy. Then from there, I recommend you start considering, how can I create some boundaries within this energy map? How can I potentially eliminate some unnecessary drains from this energy map? Just a little food for thought, but have a little look across, okay, this is where my energy goes on a day-to-day basis. What drains me? What recharges me? And that's our first step here, is to keep that in mind. And my last recommendation within the energetic audit is to do a little bit of an energy budget. I want you to look at your energy like it's a financial budget. Where can you allocate more energy to the things that fill you up and allocate less energy to the things that drain you? So just as you would with your financial budget, what are you prioritizing in this season of life? And just as life ebbs and flows, we go through seasons, just as finances ebbs and flows as we go through those seasons, your energy should as well. So have a little think. Maybe you're in a season of hustle, complete hustle, focused zone, where you actually have to allocate more of your energy to your side hustles, to your business, to your career, and you actually have to allocate less of that budget to socializing, to people that drain you, to situations that drain you. Just like you would with your finances, maybe you're saving for a home, maybe you're saving for a holiday. So more budget has to be allocated to those things and less to fun. Alternatively, on the other side of the scale, maybe you're in a season where you're like, I've hustled, I've worked really fucking hard this year. I'm going to allocate more budget into socializing, more budget into my friends, energetic budget, and a little less in this season of my life to the hustle, to the grind. Start looking at your energy and your peace as a budget. What do you need to allocate more budget to and less budget to, dependent on the season you're currently in? Next, second most important, and they do go hand in hand, is your mental audit. And I like to kick off every mental audit by doing a little bit of like a brain dump. And this just allows me to take everything that's in the brain. I like to visualize I'm like sucking it out of the brain and putting it onto paper. What's bugging you? What's coming up? What are you excited for? What are you anxious about? Just get it all into paper. And that's going to be your first step to really like drain the brain, essentially, so you can then move on to step number 2 within our mental audit. And that is to evaluate your mental environment. So I love to think of this as what books or podcasts or people you follow on social media, what music, what videos are you watching that make an impact on your mental capacity? Now, this could be your mental health. This could be your mental capacity. Is this draining you? Is this triggering you? Where are you putting yourself voluntarily? A lot of the time, especially on social media, when it comes to algorithms and things like that, we don't have a lot of control of what comes up, especially on TikTok. My TikTok algorithm sometimes is just so scat and rogue, and I'm like, I did not build this For You page brick by brick. This is not my algorithm. So what do you have control over? What mental environments do you have control over? What mental environments are you voluntarily putting yourself into? So I'm talking about the people you follow, the podcasts you listen to or you watch, things like that. Evaluate how much impact is this having on my mental capacity or my mental energy, and then adjust accordingly. Now, this is a really nice segue into our digital audit, and this one's kind of fun because it's super actionable and it's quite quick. So first and foremost, this is like a little bit of like a selfish one because this is always at the forefront of my mind. For Christ's sake, before we start a brand new year, what we're going to leave behind is being subscribed to random companies' emails. You're going to go through your junk email, you're going to go through your inbox, and you're going to unsubscribe from anything that does not interest you anymore, that no longer serves you. And while we're on the topic of unsubscribing from things or people that no longer serve you, go through your following list on all of your social platforms and get rid of people that no longer inspire you, myself included if I'm one of them now. You can mute accordingly, block accordingly, unfollow accordingly, do what you got to do. We're leaving shitty, uninspiring environments and people behind in 2024. Still on the digital audit, let's do an app cleanup on our phone. I know for a fact there are so many of you guys that have apps on your phone you do not use. It's chewing up all your storage. Get rid of them, myself included. Last two is to do a photo purge. Again, a selfish one for me because I'm always thinking about how many unused photos and videos I have on my phone that are chewing up all my storage. So before the end of the year, let's do that. And then last but certainly not least, let's clean up our digital workspace. Now, this can be a physical cleanup, so like your desk or your study, your office, but also like let's have a look at our desktop. How many random unused files are in our downloads folder? Imagine how beautiful it would feel to clock off at the end of the year, like shut that laptop down for Christmas break and then open it back up when it's ready to start work again in 2025 and it's a clear desktop. Your storage is freed up. Everything feels fresh and beautiful and clean. Let's do that before the end of the year. We're leaving behind unused files, unused apps, unused people, unused emails in 2024. Leaving that behind. Next is our physical audit. Again, a super fun one because it's very hands-on. You guys know I love my logical steps. And of course, let's kick off our physical audit by decluttering our space. This could be a room refresh. This could be a workspace refresh. Maybe you want to rearrange some furniture. Maybe you want to upgrade your decor, whatever it is. Let's do a little bit of a declutter and a refresh in time for the new year. Next, closet clean out. Oh, I love this one. And I love doing this because I almost feel like this really solidifies and locks in a new version of you. When you get rid of clothes that you no longer want to associate with, or it may be the reflective version of you that you no longer identify with, it's a really beautiful cleansing feeling. And on top of that, you get to donate those clothes and someone gets to take them and love them, and they get a second life, which I love as well. So do your closet clean out, and always as you do this, do the joy test. Have a look at it, try it on. Does this spark joy? Does this make me feel good? Does this make me feel the kind of way? If it doesn't, sorry, you're going. And then my final point within our physical audit, let's do a little bit of a health refresh. Okay, let's throw out all the expired medication in our medication drawer that expired like a year ago, 2 years ago. In fact, I found some Hydrolite in my drawer that was expired 3 years ago. Let's get rid of that. Next, if you have a first aid supplies drawer or box like I do, let's have a little look to see if there's anything that needs to be updated. And last but certainly not least, within this health audit, health refresh section, let's book our checkups. Okay, get your skin checked. If you're a person with breasts, let's get our boobies checked. Let's get our pap smears done. If we're due, let's just get our bloods done. Let's just get a checkup knowing that coming into a new year, we're healthy, we're looked after, we have put in the time to make the appointment, we've gone to see a professional, we've checked over, and we can start a new year healthy and fit and strong and ready to rock and roll. And last but certainly not least, let's evaluate and audit our relationships. We are going to leave behind situations, people, acquaintances, friends, jobs, whatever, that no longer serve us in 2024. And a lot of the time, this stagnant, toxic energy, unfortunately, often comes from other people or comes from us as a byproduct of being around certain people. So I want you to evaluate your connections going into 2025. Reflect on the relationships that bring value to your life or relationships that drain you or relationships that are one-sided. I'm going to be an advocate for you in 2025. You do not have to deal with one-sided friendships or relationships. If you are always the first person to send a text, if you are always the first person to organize a catch up, if they never respond to you, if they take fucking 10 business days to respond to you, I'm sorry, nobody is that busy. Do not let anyone convince you otherwise. If they wanted to respond to you, they would have. They're on their phone anyway. Okay? We're getting rid of them. We just don't have to normalize that as a standard. It doesn't have to be a dramatic, you're not my friend anymore, sever ties, have closure. No. It doesn't have to be like that. Maybe we just, again, revisiting our energy budget. They're not allocated as much budget in 2025, and that's okay. We're not normalizing that standard for friendships and relationships. We just don't have to. You and I, we're worth a lot more than that. Okay? Number 2, we're going to set some clear boundaries going into 2025. And what we are going to leave in 2024 is lack of boundaries and people pleasing. And I'm going to do an entire episode on how to set some really strong boundaries and how to actually stick to them as well. Because I know for a lot of us, it's so much easier said than done. Ex-people pleaser here, but we are going to establish some clear boundaries, and we're going to really work on feeling empowered when we say no to people about things we don't want to do, instead of feeling guilty and shameful. And again, I'm going to do an entire episode around this, but just keep that in the back of your mind. Boundaries are in 2025. People pleasing is out. My last 2 within the relationships category: reach out to the people that you want to reconnect with. This one's a bit of a personal one for me because I have a handful of friends that I know and I love, and I see them like twice a year. But they're the kind of friends that I don't have to see regularly to feel like connected to them or close to them. And when we do reconnect, it's like we saw each other yesterday and things have never once changed. And whenever I do hang out with them, I feel so like my cup is full. They bring me so much joy. They make me laugh, like full belly laughs. So I would recommend, as we come to a close of 2024, reach out to the people that make you feel that way. Just give them a call or organize a coffee catch up, or, go out for dinner or lunch or whatever it is. Reconnect with the people that bring you a lot of joy. And the last one within the relationships audit is to release some of your grudges. Now, don't get me wrong. I know what it's like to be hard done by. I know what it's like to have somebody completely F up, and it's within your best interest to actually never talk to that person ever again. However, I recommend you release some of that resentment, some of that anger, some of that anxiety around this person, and just acknowledge, okay, they did wrong by me this year or whenever it was. I have come to peace with that. I have acknowledged that. I'm going to respect myself enough to let go of that. Even if you don't forgive them, we're going to move forward in 2025 and start a new chapter without them in it. I love the quote, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die, because that's exactly what it feels like. You have this like toxic, venomous, poisonous grudge, resentment, anxiety, anger held up about this person, and it's a conscious effort to not talk to them and not try to see them and not have a look at their social media and all this kind of stuff. It's quite toxic, isn't it, when you really zoom out and you look at it? So what we're going to do in 2024 is we're going to release some of that toxic emotional baggage, and we're going to start 2025 fresh, airy, flowy, okay with the fact, you know what, you did me wrong. That's okay. I'm going to grow past this and I'm going to start my new chapter without you in it. That is what I would recommend you did and you left behind in 2024. We've gone through our energetic, mental, digital, physical, and our relationships. So I hope this episode has brought you some food for thought on how to really close out 2024 in a really positive, fresh way so that we can start 2025 cleansed, happy, thriving, moisturized, booked, busy, all the things. I hope you loved today's episode. As always, I would love your feedback. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a little comment, little like, little share if you want to. If you are listening on the podcast streaming services, please give us a review or a 5 stars or a share on socials. We would appreciate that. And when I say we, I'm a one-woman team, so I would appreciate that so much. As always, thank you so much. I love you so much. I'll see you in our next episode.